Okay. Hello, Sharon. How are you?
I am doing fantastic. Excited to be in my fun, amazing home office.
Well, thank you for coming on the show. I appreciate it. And I'm happy to be in my poofy schmoofy chair sofa that you have
I like it.
explained some new vocabulary for me. That's great. Always like to learn new words.
It's important.
It
Very
is. It's
important,
very
actually.
important to keep learning. So, right on the top of your bio, it says that you are obsessed with remote management. So, I think that's going to be our theme for this conversation, yeah?
Indeed.
Okay, now I think a lot of us have heard about remote management and remote working because of COVID. Is that what we're going to talk about? People working online instead of commuting to an office?
This is pretty much it. I always try to remind people that remote is not necessarily just working from home. It's working from your most optimal working environment. I have a home office, which I love. I also have an office 2 blocks away that when I need to real distraction free time, I use that a lot.
Okay, so why don't you give us a little backstory of how you got interested in this and why you think this is going to be, you think this is going to be the wave of the future?
I think it's unavoidable. Well, the way I got into it, I've been running remote companies. I've been running companies remotely for about 18 years at this moment. I ran a web hosting company and an outsourcing solution where my servers were in New Jersey, my employees were in India, and everything was run from me sitting on my butt at home or in a close office. Um, and then when I sold the company, I did some consulting for companies, again, all remote. I did once in a blue moon fly to them or anything of that sort, but it was all from my home office. And then I started this recruitment agency where we specialize in remote employees. We're very unique to that format where all our employees are working from home or remote environment directly for North American technology companies. So, with that in mind, and considering that my entire team are all remote and barely any of them are in the same country, it made me understand how important it is to to actually work remote. Now, in terms of your second question, why, how do I see it as the wave of the future? I this, I this I originally got into remote because I thought that I can get the best um, labor within countries where the cost of living is lower, so I would get incredible value. It was an arbitrage proposal in the beginning, but very quickly I've noticed that people are actually more productive. And then I started doing research on that, and and even MIT Sloan had research on remote employees showing that people are more productive, they're happier, they're more independent. It's just a better solution for most workers out there. And of course, it reflects on companies. And that's why I believe it is the future because not only when you choose to go remote, you have access to this. You open the access to a huge pool of talent. You don't need to hire from one specific area, which automatically means you can find better people and find them faster. But it also means that even the people that work in the office, if you let them work from home, you will get more production. So if you choose not to be flexible on that concept, you might be losing a productivity and you might be losing the employees, some of your best employees that love to work remote. And that will change the future.
Okay. Uh, The benefits to remote working are obvious. No travel time, no commute, no traffic jams, no delays. Then you've got the environmental. There's going to be less cars on the road, less pollution.
Mm-hmm. Less offices with open electricity all night, like they
Right.
have big, like they're big clubs, but nobody's there.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, what do you think could be disadvantages, though, to working remote? Are there any?
Yes, there is a huge disadvantage. There's two. based on interviewing a lot of people and doing research and even dealing with my own employees, there's two major components that you need to pay attention to, which are huge disadvantage. And they're actually they're kind of in the same category, which is the mental health category. So one of them is the social component. A lot of people feel like they're losing on the social component, and the other one, a lot of people do end up isolating themselves and not taking care of their mental health because they're not participating in a social experience. They go home and they're too lazy to get out of the office, and that's a huge deal because it actually could affect people in terms of their productivity, but also could completely shut them down.
Well, that's true. Do you think that the actual physical gatherings of people is different than a virtual gathering on people's mental health? I mean, it's almost the same, except you can't touch and smell and, you know.
It's almost the same, but we are physical beings, right? So in terms of productivity, in my opinion, there is no difference. Vice versa. You have less people distracting you. There's less random meetings. There's science behind distraction that shows that it takes somebody 25 minutes to get back to focused work when they're being distracted. In an office, anybody that tap on your shoulder and say, "Hey, did you see that movie? How awesome!" Or a small chit chat, or another your neighbor talking to somebody too loud, that kills productivity. But so on a professional level, in my opinion, not only that makes no difference, it is to a disadvantage to be in a physical office. On a more emotional aspect, we're physical people, and we need at least the extroverts, which I don't have the stats on it, but assuming that it's about 50% of the world are extroverts, they need physical connection with people. They need to go out. They need to have social experience, which means when you're sitting in a remote environment, you proactively need to get those social experiences, which there's, as long as you remember to do it, as long as your management tell you, "Hey, you got to go out," as long as you understand, then there's no disadvantage to remote, because there's plenty of things to do for anybody in the world right now. You just need to be proactive about it.
Do you think if more companies start doing remote, that the money that they save would be redistributed to the employees, or would it be kept in the owner's pocket?
I think that it would be a big failure on the owner not to invest in certain things of the employees, right? So when I talk in my book, I discuss often that you want to create the most optimal working environment for your employees, and that employee will produce more for you. It's not altruistic. It is completely selfish. You take care of your employees. You make sure that they have an incredible, productive work environment, great headset, amazing desk, good computer, a beer fridge, anything that makes them feel good in the working environment will reflect on their productivity. So if a boss doesn't do it, he's completely missing the point. You might as well let people go back to the office.
Well, I agree, because I was just thinking that just the savings on the real estate alone would be tremendous.
But you have to invest. What you have to invest, you need to make sure that all your employees have great internet, a great computer. I mean, this is things that you buy to your office. You might as well just ship them home, but invest a little bit more in the headphones. Make sure that everybody has quality internet, which means you don't necessarily need to buy them internet because they're already using it, but make sure that you invest in to nudge higher, right? Every internet company comes with packages. Get 2 packages higher for them, because it will drastically affect that interactive experience that you have with them through Zoom or through any webcam chats.
What about the idea of paying them a certain, almost like a rental fee for the use of a room? I know that you can do that on your taxes. You can write off parts of your house if you use, it's a little gray, but if you use parts of your house, you can write it off as a business area and take depreciation and things like that. What do you think about employers giving the employee a small rental fee, if you will?
Well, I actually would prefer them to give money for co-working spaces. There's no question about it that at home there's still a little bit of challenges with distraction, and it might not be the most optimal working space for everybody. And people want to get out of the house, especially, like I said, the extrovert. Yeah, and I do invest a lot in the science of extroverts and introverts. You have to pay attention to that. But if you want to invest at that level, go and send your people to a co-working space 1-2 blocks away. They will be more productive because you will force them to get out of their pajamas, which is very important.
Yeah, I think so. There's so many people out there who are doing that only get dressed now from the waist up.
This is my book cover. Every morning I think I put on the suit because I believe in dressing up and say, do I really need to put some pants on? I don't know. And I usually do it, end up anyways. But sometimes I wear shorts. Sometimes I end up wearing shorts and I say, whatever, especially if it's summertime.
Well, I'm glad you brought up your book because I was going to ask you, I don't see your book on your bio. What's the title of your book?
Surviving Remote Work.
Okay, it may be in there somewhere. But
well,
do you have the book?
Surviving Remote Work. It's on Amazon, and it is a cover of me wearing a suit and shorts, so to entertain people.
Oh, do you have the book? You want to hold it up?
I do not have it on me. Amazon still did not ship me, and we just launched it 3 weeks ago.
Okay.
Yes.
All right. Well, but it's out and available, right? People can get it?
It's out and available. The digital is instantaneous. The shipping, Amazon is being funny these days a little bit with the shipping, so it takes about a week or two, but it's available.
Okay, great. We've got about 2 minutes left. Do you want to talk about your particular company or?
Sure. Look, and so if anybody, first of all, read my book, learn about it, about everything that has to do in remote. Surviving Remote Work is available on Amazon. If you have any question, contact me at Sharon@distantjob.com because Distant Job is the recruitment agency. We're the first recruitment agency that specializes in remote employees. We go all over the world to find the best and the smartest IT specialists that would work directly for your North American technology, or sometimes not technology, technology department. So if you ever need people, we're the right people for you.
Okay, give us your website again. Just spell it out slowly,
Distant
please.
Job, DISTANTJOB.com.
Super. All right. Well, Sharon, thanks so much for coming on and sharing with us. Very interesting. The one thing we didn't bring up, though, is that not everybody can work remotely. It's only going to be certain types of companies. Obviously, police and firemen and those types of people. Doctors, probably not. Although doctors can do some remote.
It's still very futuristic. The robotic remote experience is still a little far-fetched. But I would say about 10 to 20% of the companies cannot work remote.
Okay, that's great. Well, it's funny. We work remote here, too. I'm in Las Vegas and my producer is in Boston.
That makes sense.
So
for audiovisual, digital, there is no excuse.
Absolutely. Well, thanks again for coming on the show. It's nice meeting you, and best of